Good morning. Patrick, I believe you're on mute.
So is it just board members on right now? What I was going to say to the board was I had put out a note about next alternate meeting for next Friday. That actually does not work. So now I'm looking at next Thursday afternoon. So if you want to take a minute to look at your next Thursday afternoon calendar, December 9th, I'd appreciate it.
What time in the afternoon?
I could do one or anything after 3:30, 1 to 2 or after 3:30.
1 to 2 works for me.
1 to 2.
I can't
After.
I can't do 1 to 2. I could do 3:30 though, or in the morning.
I could also do in the morning on Thursday.
I can't do 3:30 also, but the morning is fine for me.
How about 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock?
I have something at 10 o'clock. It's potentially movable. But 9 o'clock works fine.
9. I see 1, 2, 3. Emily?
I'm sorry, are we talking about next Friday?
Next Thursday, the 9th.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Patrick. You caught me multitasking. Hold on.
Thursday the 9th at 9 a.m.
I can do that.
Okay. So that's 4 of us. That's great. 4 would be a quorum too. All right.
I'm non-voting, so just keep that in mind when you count the quorum. I'll be there.
I've always been understanding about that, but I need a quorum.
I'll be there.
Okay.
I think I count toward a quorum. I'm just
Okay. Yeah. Duly noted.
We currently don't have Andy and Reverend Whitaker on, so those are our 2 remaining members.
Okay. Is Felisa on as well?
Yes.
I can't see everybody. Felisa, does Thursday at 9 a.m. work for you next Thursday the 9th?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can do it.
Awesome. That's fantastic. So we have a quorum then for that meeting. So that's great. And are we waiting for anybody else from the public? We have public members on? I'm on the screen that I can't see everybody.
Hi, this is Josephine Ross. I'm on as a member of the public. I don't know if anyone else is.
Great. Thanks, Professor Ross. Thanks for joining.
No one else from no other public members are on this meeting.
Okay. So maybe we'll wait 2 minutes for Reverend Whitaker and for Ms. Voice and get started. Okay. In the interest of time, we have a quorum, and so I'm going to go ahead and call our meeting to order and welcome everyone. I'm Patrick Canavan, Chair of the Clemency Board. Today, we were planning to do further discussion on the regulations and with hope to vote on them. However, we were scheduled to review them today, but they are still undergoing review. I'm going to turn to Christina to just give us a brief update on where we are with that review and what that means for the work of the board.
Yes, so we're really excited to report that the regs have made it through a very big part of the review, which is they've obtained legal sufficiency from the Office of Attorney General, which was our biggest hurdle to overcome, which is great. Now they're currently going through IQ review, the final stages. They've actually gone through it. The edits and comments have been sent to me as of last night. And so I will be combing through them and prepping the regs to see whether or not there are any substantive changes or just technical or typographical changes. And once that has received final approval, I will send it to the board. My goal is to send it to the board on Monday. I expect that I should be able to get through it today. And the board should have time to review and schedule a meeting to vote on it at a later time. And I will also be sending the finalized regs to the public as well, as stated in our last public meeting.
So just to make sure I understand it, all the revisions will be completed and ready for board review as of Monday. You will make those available to the public in the normal fashion, and to certainly somebody who's asked to see a copy of the regulations, as well as to board members. And so if we were able to get them on Monday, we would have Tuesday and Wednesday to review them, and then have a special meeting on Thursday to actually vote on those.
That is correct, unless the board decides it needs more time to review, or, other than the 4 days that they'll be given. But yes, that is correct.
Okay. So I'll open it to board members if you have any questions for Christina or concerns about that. Is there any discussion on that? Any discussion? No. Okay. So given that the board will not receive the regulations until Monday, December 6th, I'd like to propose a motion to schedule a meeting to vote on the regs for Thursday, December 9th at 9 a.m. And at that point, the board and the public will have had a few days to review them, and we can go ahead and vote on them on Thursday the 9th. So I'm making that motion. Anybody want a second?
Pat,
Hi, Reverend.
can you hear me? 'Cause
Yes, I
I'm
can.
having trouble. You
Yes.
said Thursday the 9th?
Yes, Thursday the 9th at 9 a.m.
Okay. I have a doctor's appointment that morning, but I'll try to change it. So I'll let you know.
Okay, I
I'll try
appreciate
to move.
What
Okay.
I know, Reverend, is that we have a quorum. We have 5. We need to have a quorum in order to vote on the regulations. And
Oh, okay.
I'm aware that we have a quorum already. Of course, I would love to, because we're doing this on such a quick basis, if there was anything you could do to participate that day, I would be very grateful for it. And we try to be
Yeah,
much.
I'm going to see if I can do it. Yeah, I mean, I don't stop the show now. You keep going.
Well, I
Okay.
don't know about that, but
No, I know about that. I don't stop. But okay. I'll try to do what I can.
thank you. Any other comments from other board members? Would someone like to second the motion? Reverend
Second.
Whitaker. Oh, I hear a verbal Emily and a yes from Reverend. So all those in favor of moving to a special meeting on Thursday, December 9th at 9 a.m., say aye.
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 Opposed? Anyone opposed? Okay, very good. So we're going to go ahead and have that public meeting on the 9th. And that's going to, we'll do the agenda that we were going to do today. We will just move that agenda until that special meeting on Thursday, December 9th. Okay. I did want to just recognize that, does anyone have any comments or anything they want to raise right now on the board? Any board members?
I wanted to, we'll probably address this in the next meeting. I know there'd been some discussion about adding a returning citizen that we were going to discuss, and I'm fine with that, but wanted to also suggest the possibility of adding someone to represent victims' rights on the board as well, perhaps someone from NVRDC or some sort of similar organizations that were accounting for that perspective as well.
Okay. Do you intend, so what we're going to do was, Andy introduced a motion last time that at the next meeting we would go ahead and vote on that. Do you want to do the same thing for the victims?
Yes.
Okay.
If I may interject, there's no motion needed for this. There actually is a seat dedicated in the statute for victims' rights. It's just currently vacant, and so we just someone just needs to be appointed in that seat. So no motions needed. I think it's just that someone has to be appointed on that seat for right now. But for the victim, the returning citizen seat, that is something that the board would have to write to council, and that was the motion, to write a letter to council to modify the statute to include returning citizen seat.
My understanding is that there's already a seat for someone to represent returning citizens on the board. Isn't that right? In the same manner as victims? So it would be kind of an additional person.
Right. There's someone who represents, but there's not someone who is a returning citizen. That was the motion, for someone who is a returning citizen to be part of the board.
Okay. I still think it might be appropriate to consider kind of how we can, to the extent that statutory changes are being proposed, kind of how they can ensure that those victims in some capacity are being heard as well, as we kind of go through this and just kind of thinking through that holistically.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that there are some opportunities with the seat being vacant for us to ensure that there is someone who represents the victim rights, advocacy organizations, or is a victim themselves, to be present or part of the thing. I think we're actually moving in the right direction. We just need to, it's still part of this startup stuff that we're still we're moving along. I hope to make huge progress on that next week, but yeah, I think that we'll be able to account for that.
Great, thanks.
Okay. Is there any other discussion anyone wants to raise today? Nope. Okay.
Patrick, just in
Yeah.
terms of the returning citizen member of the board, after last meeting's discussion, I did take it back to Councilmember Allen, and he is definitely amenable to changing the language to say a person who is a returning citizen rather than background in, if that's what the board wants to do. So on our end, we're totally amenable to that. It would just be like, if that's what the board decides to do, we would write a letter to him saying, this is what we recommend, and then we could move forward with it. And similarly, if we want to change the victims' rights language, I'm sure he would be open to that as well. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Very good. So Christina, is it possible that we could get a draft letter to look at for next week as well?
Sure, absolutely. So on the schedule for next week is the regulations, the draft letter to council, and then the application that concerns the Clemency Board. So we met with the application committee, so all of that will be ready for review.
Fantastic. Okay, great. So we're going to move everything to next Thursday. Okay. With that said, the business of the board is over except for public comment. I want to just recognize Professor Ross, who is our stalwart and faithful member of the public who's with us. So, Professor, I don't know if you have anything you wanted to say during the public comment period.
No, thank you very much for thinking about me and thinking about the public. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem at all. And I hope you can join us next Thursday at 9 o'clock. It'll be, Christina, how will people be notified of the links and all that?
So we're going to make our best efforts, because it's such a short time period, to get it into the registrar, but I will send out agendas and the links to everyone who attended the meeting last time. So for instance, Professor Ross is here, I'll send her an agenda via email. So
Okay.
essentially, we just have to make a best effort to inform everyone that we're having another meeting.
Okay, sounds great. Okay, thank you. With that, our business is finished for today. Short and sweet, but we'll have a more substantive conversation next week. So appreciate everyone's being flexible about that. So is there a motion to adjourn? I see Reverend Whitaker motioning to which. Is there a second?
I also move. I'm having trouble with my mutes, but I'm moving. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Right.
I.
Aye. Great, we're adjourned.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. See you next Thursday, 9 a.m.
Thank you.